Hey everyone, this is Jennifer Beamer, owner-operator of ExpertlyDyed Art by Science, and if you're watching this video, you must have seen my first two videos about drum cutters, and now we're actually going to move on into the tutorial. And I'm going to show you how I use my drum cutter by talking about a very simple blend. So I'm going to take two different colors of merino. This one is just plain white, undyed. And then this one is a lovely orange that I made before coming to Korea. And basically what I did to get it down to the size is depending on the size of your combed top, it might be really fat, it might be really skinny, you never know sometimes. But mine was particularly fat, so what I did is I just split it down the middle, and this is the size that I got, and I might actually want to divide this yet again, so it would have been in total a quarter of the size of the original, just to make sure that it gets through the drum cutter without breaking the tines, or bending them rather. And the reason why I'm doing the two different colors is we're going to show how the bats change after several passes. Okay, so this is no bling, no like shiny stuff, no advanced fibers. It's just like super basic stuff that you'll want to do when you get your drum cutter because it's really great practice. And even though it's kind of like a basic blend, you're still going to get some really great colors out of it. So it doesn't really matter too much for me, at least on the length. So you can feed this whole thing through, but to make your blending a little bit faster, what you're going to want to do is make more passes with the different colors. So I'm going to start with a white, and what I'm going to do is open up these fibers. Try not to change the orientation too much, because you're going to have to go through even more passes to make sure everything aligns. And that's actually one of the purposes of a drum cutter, is it aligns the fibers so that they're all generally going the same direction. This is also the tool that you will want to use for fibers less than 5 inches. If you get more than 5 inches, like 6, 7, 8 inches, it's going to wrap too much around your drum cutter, and then you're going to basically have a nightmare trying to pull it off, especially if those fibers are closer to the surface of your drum cutter. But, you know, generally speaking, nothing more than like 5 or 6 inches. Most silk you could still get on here, that's fine. I've never really had a problem removing that, but it is something to consider. They do sometimes make bigger swifts, so if you are interested in those longer fibers, then maybe that's also something that you can look into. But basically, you don't want to feed in the long fiber here, and then it starts taking, and then it gets stuck, because then you'll have to cut the fiber off, and no one wants scissors near the fiber, right? So I'm just going to open up this piece. So you can see that it's pretty translucent, like you can pretty much just see through it, right? You can see me through it, right? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this down. This is sort of like the tray that holds the fibers so that it can go in. And what I like to do is, let's see if I can do that again. So these little wispy bits here up at the top, I'll kind of gently lay that on the top of the liquor, and that is sort of just my way of knowing that when this liquor drum goes around, it's going to grab this little part of the fiber here. You don't want to shove it in too far in here. Like, you don't want to just take this and just shove it in there, because what's going to happen is when it goes onto the main drum, it's going to fold on itself, and that's actually not a good thing. You don't want that. But you also want to make sure that you're not just over here cranking for no reason. You know, you actually want it to be fed in. So this is my little trick to make sure that the fiber does get fed in. So let's do that. And I'm so sorry for my wiggly table. Like, seriously, I'm really sorry about that, because you'll want a very steady, stable table for this, and not a rickety one like I got. So you want to do this really smooth motion, and if anything ever catches, you feel it, you're like, oh, immediately stop. Do not keep going. Alright? So I'm going to take this orange, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did to the white. So I'm going to open it up a little bit, like so. And this doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, you just want to get it open, maybe do it also from this angle. Take this part off. If there's anything in the fiber you don't like, take it off. Because if you don't like it now, then you don't want it in your bat either. Oh my gosh, and here's one of my hairs. So you'll open it up like that. Try to open up as many of those dense places as possible, especially if you're going to be doing a blend like we are. So you'll just open it up like that. Okay, that's pretty good. And then you're just going to set it on here and gently crank it in. And go slowly, especially at first. There is no reason to race. And you see this little bit that came off? I don't know if you really see because it's orange. It's another reason why you might want to go a little bit slow. Some of it might not get all on there, so you'll want to sort of help it out a little bit. And I don't like this being here, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold it with my hand. Oh, you probably didn't see it at all, sorry. I just, you can just hold the fiber with your hand, and it's sort of like hand painting the fiber. Just trying to get it on there, So, one more time, I'm going to add the white. So I'm alternating orange, white, or white, orange, white, orange. So, try and do this hyper speed. Warp speed. I'm gonna get so many dislikes from that comment. Just know it. Don't you dare. Alright. So we have opened this up. You want to make sure that you can see through it. If you can't, if there's big globs, it's going to ruin your drum carder, especially if you have a fine-tooth drum carder like I do. It's going to be a disaster. You don't want to have the tines of your drum carder bent. Okay. Ta-da! Okay, we've got the white on. Let's do this last one of orange, and then we will cut to the next video. Okay, so we're going to open this up. If at any point you feel like, okay, so I'm looking at this is going to be too wide, so I'm going to do 2 passes of orange that are really thin. Like I really want to focus on thinning this out. That's fine too. Really, it just comes down to the amount of carding you want to do. If you want to put it on there and a little bit chunky, great. But if you want it to be really well blended, you're going to be blending that sucker so many times. Normally I go 3 passes for a pretty even blend, but if you don't take the time to really open up the fiber and spread out that color, it's going to take more passes to get an even blend. So I'm going to finish up this last piece like that. And you don't have to do it in this combination. You can do even smaller amounts at a time to get the number of passes you'll have to do even fewer. But generally you're probably going to need at least 2 passes for a pretty even blend regardless. So I'm going to put this on here. And really what my left hand is doing is just guiding the fiber. So I want to make sure that on the sides here it goes in such that when it comes out on the Swift, it's within the dimension here, not outside of it, because that will mean the fiber is going to start wrapping around your crank, and then it's going to start squeaking, and you're going to have to do something about it. Your husband's going to get angry at you, and yeah, just try to help it along, but don't ever hold down on it, because that would completely defeat the purpose of what this is trying to do, which is to get it onto the drum. So I'm going to take this opportunity to actually point out to you guys, notice that my liquor here has almost no fiber on it. That's a good thing. What this is designed to do is catch those really, really short fibers. So let's say you are working with a processed fleece, and so there's some like second cuts in there. Those are the little bitty pieces that get cut twice when someone is shearing a sheep, for example. This will catch that. So really short fibers will be caught on here. It also lets you know, hey, stop overloading the drum carder. So if you notice that you have fiber starting to pile up on here, it might be because the drum, like the Swift, is getting too full. So there won't be any more fiber being packed on here. Or the amount that you fed in is too fat, because this will only be able to catch so many fibers at a time, and if you have a really fat piece that's going in here, some of it is going to get transferred onto the main drum and the rest of it is going to get pulled around the liquor. So you'll also want to watch for that. It's a good troubleshooting thing. And then the last thing I'm going to do before we do the next video, where I take the bat off and show you how to do more blends, I'm going to push down my burnishing tool, which is basically like one of those soft bristled hairbrushes, but it's all in a line. And I'm just going to give it a few cranks with this. Okay. Normally this is going to be all the way at the top, and this is going to be way more useful because it's going to allow me to pack a few more grams of fiber on the top. But just to show you how it works, this is how it goes, right? Ta-da! So please stay tuned for my next video, and if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below in that section. If you want to follow me on Twitter, fan me on Facebook, find my Etsy shop, all that is also in the description below. Thanks for watching. Bye!